he lives on $183,000 a year on 4 rental properties worth $2.3 million. $2.3 million. So before we tap in, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for the algorithm, and make sure you hit the bell notification. Let's rock out.
When I bought my first property, that was the most exciting and nerve-wracking time of my life. But I do feel like my story will help others see what's possible and hopefully inspire others to take action and control their life and get on the path to be financially free. If I feel uncomfortable or I feel fear, that means I'm learning. And that's what I felt when I bought my first property. I did not let fear take control of my actions. My name is Karan Vij. I'm 33 years old. I make $183,000 and I live in Chicago. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is a long-term investment.
Okay.
There's some months that you're gonna make a lot of money. There's some months you're gonna break even. And there's some months that you're gonna lose money. In my enterprise, I average around $15,000 per month, and I have a portfolio worth over $3 million. One thing that was instilled in our family was to secure your future by making money. My parents are traditional in a sense. They always had a focus on wanting their kids to have an education and secure a 9-to-5 job. I've always had that in my brain. I've always wanted to be number one. I wanted to win. I wanted to use as much of my time as possible to make as much money as possible that I could. The biggest thing I've splurged on recently is spoiling my baby with new clothes. I do have some credit card debt because of the newborn. There's been a lot of unexpected expenses.
All right, so let's look at this real quick. Housing and utilities, basically 4,400, discretionary 2,600, savings and investments 1,200, food $800, insurance 400, company car 100, subscriptions 51. Oh, so he using that company car as a tax write-off, huh? He using that as a tax write-off. I feel you, big dog. I feel that. Food 794. That ain't too bad. So they probably cook a lot. So spending in October, $9,600 a month. Ain't too bad. Could be a little bit better, but they ain't too bad though. But damn, housing and utilities though. Is that the investment? Is that part of the investment property too? Or is that just where he live at though? Because if you ask me, and listen, if you ask me, a lot more, probably 50% of that should go to the savings and investments. That's probably what it is, huh? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking. Because that's the same thing I'm gonna do with my truck. That's the same thing I'm doing with my truck. Once we get everything aligned with once everything is filed and complete, that's exactly what I'm gonna be doing with my truck. So when I be taking these trips, when I be going to these other little podcasts, and shit that I be tuning in on. Oh yeah, 100%. Or when I'm using the vehicle to go pick up some more equipment for what I got for the content. 100%. This entire space that I'm using right now, 1,000% gonna be a tax write-off, as well as part of the electricity too. Yup. Yup.
However, I also chose not to pay off all of it because I'm using the money to, again, buy more assets. I use my line of credits.
Hold on, let me see. When buying a company car, make sure the vehicle exceeds 6,000 pounds. Ask your accountant about it. Oh, let me see. Let me see some right now. Ooh, I'm just under. I'm just under, bro. So my truck weighs about 4,500 pounds. It weighs about 4,500 pounds. Damn. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, we sitting at a smooth 4,500 for my truck. That's what we sitting at right now. I write off my meetups and mileage. Yeah. Yep. That's why I'm trying to hurry up and file it too, just in case I'm able to make it to that meetup in California too. Now, if it doesn't exceed, you just whip out a percentage calculator. Yeah. I got my tax lady who does it anyway, so she'll be able to do that for me.
Strictly for the business, I either use them for any.
This is not financial advice at all. Please contact your financial advisor.
Upcoming.
This is just something that we do.
Expenses that were not expected, or I use them to buy further assets. I have low monthly expenses because one of the perks that I have in my job is I do get a company car, which covers gas and insurance. The other perk is I get a company phone. I absolutely love debt, but I'll say I only like good debt. You have to use it properly. Good debt is debt that you have a strategy for. Good debt is when you use the debt for the purpose of generating future accelerated profits and income. I have $100,000 cash that I'm using to buy up more property when the price is right. I also have this $100,000 sitting in a high interest savings account, generating over 5% of almost risk-free interest. I do take advantage of my 401k. I save over 10%. However, my long-term strategy is to buy up as much real estate as possible, and that's the strategy I'm executing. I realized that the houses that we were renting were all charged per room. It wasn't a charge for the whole house. The landlord was charging per room. And when I did the math, I realized that by charging per room, you could actually accelerate your gains compared to any other real estate option.
Yep.
I decided to find places that were as close as possible to colleges and universities.
Listen, I was always taught this. And so when I reopen up my, how can I say this? When I get back into my property investments, wholesaling and different things like that, one of the things that me and my guy, shout out to him, my guy Nicholas, because he's a real estate agent as well. One of the things that we're going to focus on is wholesaling, right? And we're gonna lock in because, like I said, he's the real estate agent, so he's gonna know the ins and outs of. He's gonna have a leg up on a lot of different people because he's a real estate agent, right? So he's gonna be able to tap into some information that your typical wholesalers won't be able to tap into. So that's gonna be one dope thing, but also as well as being able to find a lot of duplexes and triplexes around college areas like Arizona State. Or if I want to travel out to Tucson, there's going to be spots out there because Tucson is really big and ain't nothing really out there. So that's going to be dope. Because we got GCU out here too. So finding duplexes and triplexes out there as well near those areas, it's going to be dope. You deal with a lot more shit renting out rooms, roommate disputes, turnover, and rent collections. For sure. I believe that. I'm pretty sure I'm definitely aware of it, but I think more so one of the things that I did that somebody told me before who also rented out these duplexes and these rental places is rent these spots out to people who parents are paying for. Not the ones where you got to rely on the students. The ones where their parents are the ones that's paying for it. and all they doing, they just live there. That's it. And their parents are handling everything. So you would have to contact with the parents, the ones who actually paying for the shit. So that's what they told. That's what they told me. But this was way back in Alabama in Montgomery when I was going to school when they told me this shit. So that just kind of stuck in my head. Yeah, or international students.
We created a 1-year co-op because I knew that this would be a great opportunity for me to save and make money during school. And in that time frame, I was able to save about $30,000 to $40,000 in that first year. Most people only do like a year maximum, but I decided to do the second year. That helped me. Like that's what kind of got me that extra savings for the down deposit.
Ooh, that's a good one.
The first one that I bought was in Hamilton, Ontario. I chose properties outside of Toronto due to price and familiarity with where I went to school. I got into student rentals because of a few things. Number one, because you can charge per room.
Well, let me ask y'all, you know what, Bull City, because you're very well versed in this, let me ask you a question. Do you think it would be a good idea to invest, to rent out a property to military personnel? Or do you think that would be a bad idea considering the fact that you got some soldiers who don't know how to take care of a home? What do you think? Because I was told this by somebody before, and they was like, listen, bro, I know, it may seem like the right thing to do to invest into your, to rent your property out to a soldier versus a regular civilian, whatever, just because sometimes those soldiers can get real messy because they've been living on base for so long, but now they finally got this opportunity to live on their own without, routine checkups on their barracks and all of that shit like that. But now they're able to live in their own space without the routine checkups, and they typically are gonna leave a mess. Do you agree with that, or do you think that that's just a small percentage of the soldiers, but more likely you can depend on these soldiers? What do you think? Military has an out. They can break the lease. You can't hold them to the contract due to rules in their favor. Okay, that's one way to look at it. I forgot all about that, and I'm a military guy my damn self. I didn't think about that. That's true, because you got orders and shit where they may have to go overseas and all that. So now you got to find a new tenant. So yeah, that's one thing. Too much testosterone leases can be broken at any time due to duty callings. Yep, correct. We'll politic behind the scenes. Facts. We definitely will. Also find spots next to house. Okay, yeah, we read that one already. Yes, sir, Mac. I'm definitely gonna read that super chat in a little bit, big dog. I appreciate you, homie. Even if they did, the deposit will cover that. That's true, Marcus. I ain't think about that either. See, that's what I'm talking about. I like this. See, this is why engaging with the chat is very important. When you get a lot of smart people, listen, I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed either, but understand that I know other people who may know information that I don't know. That's why I always preface this as I may not know everything, but we learning this shit together. We learning this shit on the fly. And so y'all teaching me some shit I didn't even know, or some shit that I didn't even think of. So I appreciate y'all. I think that applies more to renting college students when it comes to taking care of the property. It's a good point.
That gives you an opportunity to generate.
So also, because what I was thinking of as well, when you do rent these properties out, I was also looking at the charge that I will, when I rent these properties out, the charge that will also be covered within the rent is having routine landscapers come out and making sure that the yard is good. I was gonna add that to the rent too. It's like, all right, so I ain't gotta worry about you doing it. You gonna pay for it, but that's why we gonna make it a little bit more. So that way, but I'm gonna give them an option. I'm gonna say, listen, you can do one of the two things. I'm gonna add a little bit more onto your rent, so that way the payment for the landscapers can come out on a routine basis to make sure that the landscaping is good, or you can choose to do it yourself, but you got to maintain it, because if you don't, it's gonna be an extra charge. if the HOA says that, if I get a note and the HOA says that this, that, and the third is done, boom, that's a charge on you. So that's one way to look at it. You feel me? That's one way to look at it. That's one way to look at it. Hold up. Let's see. Deposits will cover all the damage. Facts. Oh man, that man J Ben has to be 43. He is too wise now. Nah, bro, he ain't 43, bro. J Ben, you younger than me, bro. Ain't you younger than me? Or we the same age? Yeah, but you don't want holes in the walls and whatnot. Mark, the trick is to find a way to keep the deposit for cleaning. Yep, repairs eat into the profit. That's a fact. Yes, I provide washer, dryer, and landscaping at all my places. Yes, sir. There she is. What's up? More risky with students because they're gone for the summer. That's true. But think about what about the summer students though? What about the summer students? But again, that's why I prefaced it by saying that the parents are the ones who pay for it. And I think Bull City was the one who said the parent guarantor. So I would be looking for those type of individuals, or it may not be the students that's actually in the college. They may just be the ones who they just work and they just need the spot to stay. Don't discuss it. Provide a premium service and they will pay. No discussion. Fair enough. I grew up on OGs that kept me out of trouble but share game. Facts.
Higher profits. Number 2 is steady demand and steady stream of tenants. You're always going to have demand for that house because colleges and universities don't shut down. And number 3, a lot of people think that one of the negatives is the high turnover because of the shorter term leases. That is true, but that is also the opportunity for higher gains because you can now readjust your rent to the current market levels.
But that's also one thing I don't want to do. I don't want to be subject to the market. When I start investing in my properties, I do not want to be subject to the market. I don't want to have to adjust my prices because the market is doing this. I want to be able to keep my shit the way it is and everything is still straight. But that's going to come with ownership. So that's one thing that I'm going to want to pride myself on. So I get it, the good debt shit, yeah, it may work right then and there, but I want to make sure I pay all of my shit off and I own 100% of it. Because I'm like, oh, well, the market is doing this, so now we got to adjust our prices, our rental price. Nah, fam. Nope. Because I think also what comes with that is more loyal renters too. Like, listen, bro, I'm not upping the price. It's going to stay the same. You can continue to keep paying me the same thing. You ain't got to worry about it because it's not affecting me or the market. Either I don't raise rent, useless people leave. Yep, useless people leave. It is cheaper to keep them. I agree. As an agent, I can tell you that the market dictates the price. But even as an owner though, so what if you own the property though? When I say own, I mean there's no mortgage left. That means everything that's on that property is 100% owned. The debt is completely paid off. So how would it then dictate the market? If you don't mind me asking, I'm curious. Because how can the market dictate it if I got 100% ownership of it and I don't own anything else? My mortgage is completely paid off. How do I own anything? Or how does the market dictate that? Because that means I would have more control over that, right? I would have more control on what I want to do with it, if I want to raise it or if I want to lower it, because it won't have an effect on me either way. So yeah, so tell me how. Maybe shoot, help me to understand. Listen, I'm learning with y'all. Well, y'all teaching me something. You can't undercut the market.
For me, the strategy is to buy now, hold forever, because when the property is paid off, all of the rent coming in will be 100% profit. Real estate to me is a long-term investment.
Right. So yeah, that's what I was saying. So yeah, it doesn't. You can hold the price you initially charge. But you're saying that that's if I'm still under a mortgage though, right? Because let's just say that the market is fluctuating. Let's just say the average rent has risen 3%, right? But I got full ownership of my property. I don't have to raise it 3% because I got full ownership of my property, right? So I can keep it at the same way. I can keep it at the same price, right? I should be able to keep it at the same price. If I get a new rent, it's like, all right, well, I don't need to raise my rent because I'm not trying to compete. I don't need to compete because I got full ownership. So I still get 100% profit either way. So everybody else is charging $2,500 for their rent. I'm only charging $1,000 because I don't own anybody. I don't owe anybody anything. So I get 100% of that profit. So you can pay me you can pay me $1,000 a month for this. And if you want premium, but if you want the premium, you want to pay the premium rent. That entails the, let's just say, just for sake of conversation, washer, dryer, landscaping. So you ain't got to worry about any of that. Or solar panels, because we're out here in Arizona, so it's flat, and I got solar panels, right? So now you're paying for the payment of the solar panels. So now you're paying, instead of paying $1,000, you may be paying $1,400 instead of $1,000, just for the premium. So you ain't got to worry about nothing. You just got to live here and just pay the $1,400 a month, and everything else is taken care of. All the money talk is good, but don't get away from morals and man code and respect. Anton, ain't repeat the disrespect because the hands closed. Men know how I go. Oh, say what, bro? All the money talk is good, but don't get away from morals and man code and respect. Anton, ain't repeat the disrespect because the hands closed. Men know how I go. No, you missed that. You missed that wave a long time ago. I said what I said on it, and you're still wrong. You're still wrong, big dog. Good try though. You're still wrong.
Build generational wealth. You're making equity through appreciation, and you're also accelerating your cash flow. Combining those two together can help you build real sustainable wealth.
Okay, you'll definitely have the advantage if you don't have a mortgage. Just make sure your costs are low. Okay, I got you. Makes sense. Makes sense. I appreciate you. Hold on, let me make sure I get your name right. Maria, right? Maria? Tell me if I said it right. Listen, if I said it right, listen, you got to do a super chat. I'm kidding. You ain't got to put a super chat. I'm kidding.
I was also surprised by the volume of calls. So I had to learn very quickly to set the right expectation with the tenants, and also learn to prioritize and balance all the calls coming in and make sure that the emergencies were taken care of first. I had to learn to stay calm and put things into perspective. Otherwise, this business could drive you crazy, right?
$4 a month. Mireya. So what I said with the roll of the R, or just Mireya? So like Maria. Did I say it right? Maria? Maria.
Moving to Chicago has been an absolute highlight for our lives. We love the city. There's so much to do. We love the food. There's so many things to try. And the opportunity to develop and grow our career here has been phenomenal. Having a newborn has sparked even more motivation and drive in my life. I want to build a life that we love for my family. And I also want to show my daughter that anything in life is possible if you put the work into it. There's always going to be someone that's got the bigger house, got a better car, smarter than you. That's your opportunity to learn, right? So now I don't take things personally. I take every scenario, every failure as a potential learning experience.
I like that. See, I like talking about real estate too. I like that. Listen, I love talking about things that a lot of people don't talk about. real estate, boring businesses. It actually gets me in. It actually is very interesting if people just really dial into it.